It's an incredible honor to be here. You've achieved an incredible feat. And what you've accomplished and what you've done is something that really needs to be applauded and mimicked across the entire world. By the way, am I talking Sephardi, Ashkenaz? Which one? Pick. Boys, tell me. Sephardi? You like the whole Sephardi? It's like a British accent. It's like cool. Okay. So what you've accomplished has really been incredible and should be mimicked across the whole Torah world. And I'm going to tell you why you've done it, why you've did it, why it's so important. So here we go. What is the most powerful thing a Jew can do? Most of us would say, you daven, you say Tehillim, you learn. All of those things are true. They're incredibly powerful. But very often when people talk about the powerful moments we could have, we fail to acknowledge what may be quoted in so many places across Shas as the most powerful of them all. The Gemara Masechet Rosh Hashanah says that there was one of the Amoraim was very sick. I think it was Rav Hunai was very sick. And another Amorah walked in and said, prepare the coffin, he's going to die. And they were preparing the coffin, and all of a sudden Rav Hunai came back, alive. And the other Amorah made this comment that he's going to die. He was embarrassed, like there's a coffin here and the man's alive. So Rav Hunai said, or maybe it was Rav Papa, I'm not sure, he said, no, don't be embarrassed. I went up to Shamayim. I was supposed to die. But here's why I am alive today. Because of this superpower. There's another Gemara, Masechet Ta'anit, where there were Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Akiva. They went up to daven on a day when there was a famine and there was no food and no rain for many months. And one of them got up and he davened many berachot in the Amidah, and there was no answer. And then one of them got up and said 2 phrases from Avinu Malkenu, just 2. And rain started to fall, and there was word going out on the street that one is great and one is not so great. Says the Gemara, no, they're both great. Just one of them has the superpower. There's another Gemara, Masechet Shabbat. The Gemara says the entire world rests on someone with this power. What is the superpower? The superpower is Ma'avir al Midotav. Ma'avir al Midotav means your normal instinct says this and you do that. Your normal instinct says get mad and you stay calm. Your normal instinct says retaliate and you don't. Your normal instinct says, look, and you don't. That's a superpower. And there's so many stories of people who in some way had a discipline that was against their human nature. And incredible things have happened. I believe that's where Rabbi Yasha was even born. His mother, at some point, was Ma'avir Amidotah, went against her nature to be angry at something that made sense to do so. Every time, as you worked on this project of positive usage of your eyes, every time you had a temptation to see something you shouldn't, the human nature would say, you should turn your head, and you didn't. In that moment, you had this superpower. When we were kids, there used to be this little cartoon called Popeye. I don't know if anybody ever heard of it. You heard of Popeye? Rabbi, don't admit it if you know what it is. And Popeye, what Popeye used to do is, he was a little guy, I don't remember, it's 30 years ago, and he used to, whenever he was in like a battle or a war or a struggle, He was this weak little guy. And then all of a sudden he'd take spinach, and then you'd see him make a muscle, and to be like a tank, like a war tank in his muscle. I can't believe I just told over Popeye in a speech. You want to have spinach? You want to become incredibly powerful? Literally, you have tanks in your arms? Have a temptation and look that way. In fact, the Shmiras Einayim writes that if someone is tempted and looks away, they could ask Hashem for anything. 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, I was in my house, and Vayimaen came to my house to film 5 short little videos. One of them was that Super Bowl one. And one of the stories I told as I was sitting in my house, I actually told them, come at 1 o'clock because I have a meeting before. And then, after the meeting, I'll shoot you videos. And one of the stories we told made just this point. In one of the videos, someone had said over Shmiras Einayim that says that if you look away, you can ask Hashem for anything, you become super powerful. And there was a Hasidic Shmiras, we don't know his name, who called Vayimaen and left a voice note. He said, my father went to the doctor, they took a scan, they saw something, they saw a disease in his body, it was clear they had to decide what to do. He said, I was makabel on myself at that point to turn away anytime I'm tempted. And I did so. 2 weeks later, we went back to the hospital. The doctor did another CAT scan. They said the whole thing is gone. Nothing's here. It's not there at all. And as I'm telling the story, one of the young people that was in my meeting, a modern Sephardi guy, was in my meeting. You assume all Sephardim are modern, right? Was in my meeting. He's walking out. He hears me filming the video. He says, wow, I can't believe you here for Vayimaen. He says, I get those Vayimaen videos. He says, and I'll tell you what. I have a policy. Every time something tempts me, I turn away, and I expect to see results. He says, and every time I do, he says, just now I was on vacation, and there was something that tempted, I looked away, and then I picked up my phone, I got a text message, the deal just went through, the deal was just done, you just made the money. He says, I can't tell you how many stories. The story just said about Hasidic man, maybe I don't have it with cancer, he says, but I have it with so many different things that I can't tell you how incredible the results are. But it's more than this. And I don't know, again, if this is appropriate to share, but a few summers ago, I am not aware of this at all, but I know Sephardim, so they tell me these things. You heard of something called Netflix? Never heard of it? Never heard of it. You boys ever walked past 6th Street in Lakewood? Okay. So, I'm glad you never heard of it. Netflix made a program of a woman who was formerly a Hasidic woman, or from Yeshivish woman, who went off the derech completely. And apparently, again, and Chas v'Shalom, of course, it's not something I would ever seen, but again, I do know a lot of people who know these things. They told me she talks about, this is about 1.5 years ago, she talks about how incredible her life is, and now she's living the life, and she hangs around superstars, and she does whatever she wants, and life is, she's wealthy, and she's a billionaire, and everything's great. So I gave a shir that summer, and I'm going to share with you what we said in the shir. Hashem says, excuse me for being Ashkenaz. Hashem says, I give before you a blessing and a curse. You go down one road is the blessing, the other one is the curse. The Medrash says like this. He says, here's how the roads work. The way it works is one road is beautiful. The pasture is gorgeous. There's grass, there's trees. It's fantastic and easy and smooth. But at the end of that road, there's incredible thorns. On the other road is very thorny. You don't want to go in it. And then it's very smooth. I said, this is how it works. If you choose the road that's easy and smooth and it looks like your life is awesome, next thing you know, you're in the thorns. But if you're willing to go through the thorns initially and you go through some of the toughness initially, then it becomes beautiful at the end. I said, that's the promise our Torah makes. If you're willing to accept the Torah life the right way, and it's hard in the beginning, it's thorny. I can't do this. I'm looking away from this. I have to stop doing that. It's thorny in the beginning. The results are incredible. But if instead you take the easy road, so this lady is gallivanting all out of town. The name of the show is My Unorthodox Life. How great you are that you don't care about Torah anymore. You're living it up. Your life is awesome. I said, let me tell you something. If I made a program called My Drug Life, it would also look great in the first few episodes. Anyway, it would be unbelievable. Look, I'm partying, I'm chill, I'm great. It'll look fantastic. My alcohol life would also look unbelievable initially. My gambling life also would be fantastic. If you showed me if I had money in my pocket, you showed me gambling money again and again. I'm making money. I have parlays. I have over-unders. I'm doing incredible. Making money. Final Four, Super Bowl. I'm fantastic. I said, but then show me 5 years from now. And you'll see me broke. Show me 5 years from now my drug life. And you'll see me a mess. Show me 5 years from now my alcohol life. And you'll see me ruined. I said, I'm so proud of her. She thinks her life is awesome. Let's see this show in 10 years from now. 6 months later, I was giving a class again, a Shia to modern kids, and they said to me, Rabbi, it didn't take 10 years. I said, what happened? He said, the lady in the show, her husband divorced her. She was fired from her job. Her life is a mess, because that's how it works. You start easy, and then you're in the thorns. I said, let's see your unorthodox life today. Yet show me a frum person, a person, a yeshiva man that lives life the right way, and I'll show you, yes, it's thorny, yes, it's difficult, yes, it's Mesiras Nefesh, and I'll show you an incredible life today with happiness and firmness and stability and shalom and peace and beauty and success. I'll show you incredible things. I know it's thorns initially, but if you're willing to go through those thorns, you see beautiful results. And nothing is this more relevant to than it is to Shmiras Einayim. Initially, it's difficult, but the results of protecting your eyes is so much more joy, so much more happiness. A person looks at this and that and that and that, and before you know it, their brain is dizzy. They can't see straight. They don't know how to be married. They don't know how to appreciate a wife. They don't know how to have a focused life. It's a mess. Yeah, it might feel like it's fun, but then it's messy. I'll tell you what it's like. Are you guys excited to be eating in Salt tonight? Yes? Let me ask you a question. Let's say I gave you this morning, quickly, while you were in the car driving to Tiferes, I gave you a quick piece of steak. Then driving home, I gave you another quick piece of steak. And then, while you're learning First Seder, I gave you another taco with whatever they have inside, pulled beef inside. Then lunchtime, I gave you another little piece of steak. Then I gave you some cubes of meat right before the afternoon Seder. And then in the middle of the afternoon, I gave you another little piece of cold steak. And then on the way here, you had another quick piece of a taco with pulled beef. And then you had another cold steak right when you're walking inside. Would you come into this restaurant excited and ready for the steak you're about to eat? Or you'd be, I don't know, your stomach would be a mess. And you would be not sure, are you full, are you nauseous? Someone who doesn't watch his eyes thinks he's in the easy pasture. He thinks it's wonderful in the beginning. Before you know it, your stomach is nauseous, your eyes are a mess, and you can't appreciate anything in your life that you're supposed to appreciate because you ate steak all week. One day you're going to get married. One day you're going to have homes. One day you're going to have children. And one day you're going to have real joy. Don't waste the joy on cold pieces of meat along the way. Don't waste your joy on eyes slipping all over the place. Boys, this is your chance This is your chance to make yourself ready to build a home, not just Tiferes HaKodesh, to build a home of happiness and joy and satisfaction. But you have to be willing to go through the thorns, because then it creates incredible results. And you have to trust that Hashem is going to deliver those results. Okay, I end with one more story. I've told the story over 1,000 times. I like this story a lot, because actually the reason why I like the story to tell it over here is because it's relevant to literally right on this block, like literally outside. So in the summer, I'm in Brooklyn all year round. I lived in Lakewood for many, many years. I used to rent in Lakewood every summer. The last couple of summers, I'm in Deal for the summer. I'm a Rav in Deal, so I have to be in Deal for the summer. So trying to be a Ben Torah, raising a frum family in Deal in the summer is a drop tricky. Not so hard, because there's plenty of Bnei Torah and there's areas that are fine, but it's still a little tricky. So this past summer, it was a Sunday night, and it was Bein Hazmanim was starting. I guess it was before Tisha B'Av. And two of my sons that are in out-of-town yeshiva were coming home. So we decided as a family we're going to go on a little outing on Sunday night. And we try to figure out, so we thought by the time we got Sunday night, we were going to come right here. And we thought by the time it's nighttime, it'll be somewhat safe and it'll be appropriate. When we got here, and again, my single kids were in the car, my sons, my daughters, somehow they weren't invited, but my married kids were in the cars behind. And now we get here and we realize that this is not for the eyes of Bnei Torah. So we say, okay, we have to turn around. We go back, half hour later, we say we come back, still not. Sunday night, apparently it's chaotic, there's a lot of people still. We don't belong here. So now I decide I'm going to go home. My kids are a little disappointed. We go to some fast food place on Norwood Avenue. We get some poppers or whatever. We go home. My daughter, who was 13 years old at the time, we'll call her Rachel, is very frustrated. You guys are so frum. We can't do anything in this family. We're sitting on the dining room table now eating poppers. We were supposed to have a fun night. The boys are outside. They're doing fireworks, blowing up the backyard. And she's sitting here frustrated. So I said, I'm sorry, Rachel, I don't know what to do. We tried. What are we supposed to do? Then at 9 o'clock, she wanted to do something else. That didn't work out either. And then she throws up her hands and she says, Hashem never makes it work for me. Now it's like 10 o'clock at night. And she comes over to me. She says, Daddy, again, Syrians, we call Daddy. It's not Tati, it's Daddy. Daddy, could you take us to Urban Pops? Anyone here know what Urban Pops is? They don't know what Netflix is. They don't know what the Super Bowl is. I'm very clear. Okay. Now, what are you, Shmiras Einayim? Urban Pops is an ISIS store that's in Brooklyn here in Deal in the summer. It's very expensive, high-end ISIS, like $6 a pop. Daddy, can you take me to Urban Pops? I said, okay, no problem. They close at 11. We go before they close. Now it's 10:30. I'm ready to leave. Who wants to come with me? No one wants to come with me. Daddy, you go by yourself. So now, okay, I'm leaving the house. And this Rachel comes over to me and she whispers, she says, Dad, do me a favor. Could you get me 2 cookies and cream and birthday cake? I said, okay, no problem. I'll get you 2. Now I get driving in the car, walk into the store. It's as awkward as could be. It's 10:45 on a Sunday night. A Rav is walking into the store. They don't know what to do with me. They put me in the back of the line, the front of the line. They give me 20% off, 20% more. It's as uncomfortable as could be. Finally, I get to the front of the line. My mom don't know what I'm doing here. Everyone's looking like, why is he here? I'm trying to do my best to be a good father. So now I get on the phone. I call my wife. I said, okay, what does everyone want? I'm taking the orders. Lemon nana, pina colada, s'mores, whatever. Take all the good, put in the box. Everything's good. I leave the store. Uncomfortable as could be. Everyone else, they exhale as I leave. I put her cookies and cream in the box. I come home, open the box. Everyone comes and takes their flavor. She takes her cookies and cream. And they go upstairs and it's done. Now it's 11:30 at night. My daughter knocks on the door of my room. She opens up. It's Rachel. She says, Dad, can I come in? I said, yeah. She sits on my bed. She says, Dad, you got the second Urban Pop, right? I said, let me ask you a question. Who loves you more, me or Hashem? She says, Hashem. I said, are you sure? Who loves you more, She says, Hashem. I said, who loves you more, me or Hashem? She says, Daddy, I know, Hashem. I said, here's my second question. When you saw that Urban Pops box empty, did you doubt? Did you doubt me? She says, no, I never doubted you. I said, did you doubt me? She says, I did not doubt you. I said, are you sure? She says, I know you're going to deliver. I did not doubt you. I said, Rachel, you're spot on. Because let me tell you what happened. After everyone went upstairs, I went through the back door of the house, came around to the front of the car, opened up the passenger door. In there was a bag of one more Urban Pop birthday cake. I came back around to the back door, came into the house. Everyone was upstairs. No one saw me. Went into the freezer, then the laundry room freezer where there's mazad, that's Syrian food. And I stuck your Urban Pop right underneath the mazad. It's there waiting for you. She says, Dad, thank you so much. I said, but here's what you need to know. Just like when that box was empty, you knew to never doubt your Father. You said it, Hashem loves you more than me. So then never doubt him either. And when the box is empty, never doubt him. He always delivers. Sometimes it's what you expect, sometimes it's not what you expect, but he always delivers. She came across the bed, gave me a hug, literally for 5 minutes crying. Because she felt like I got it, understood her. Now, before you think I'm a great father, let me be clear. Okay? I got everyone in my family 1 Urban Pop. I got her 2. I got me 3. Just so we're clear. Just to follow up, so if you know anything about me, I love telling these stories in shiurim. So on Wednesday, I told the story in a shiur. Thursday, I come into my house, and in the freezer, there's 2 boxes of Urban Pops. So my son, my Bacher son, comes into the house. He says, Daddy, what's that? I said, I guess I spoke about it in the shiur. They probably heard about it. So they gave us 2 boxes for free. He says, Dad, next time could you speak about schnitzel? You need to know that when you're in that moment, when you're pulled, when you're tempted, it's human nature to be tempted. There's nothing wrong with you, the fact that you're tempted. Just like there's nothing wrong with someone, like the Rambam says, someone seeing an unkosher steak and saying, I want to have that cheeseburger, but then he holds back. There's nothing wrong with the fact that a part of you wants to turn your head. There's nothing wrong with you. But when you have the courage and the conviction to turn away, that's when you get your superpower. That's when there's tanks in your arms. That's when all of a sudden you see miracles happen. And that's when you need to know and you need to believe that even when you feel like your box is empty, because at your age, there's always things that you want and things that you need. You know your Father in heaven will deliver, not just in the next world. He'll deliver in this world, because if you have the courage enough, do you know what? Don't just finish the book now in 90 days. Do it again. Do another 90 days. If you have the courage enough to walk through those thorns and go through what is initially difficult, ultimately your life will have so much joy and so much happiness, and it'll be so smooth. So the next time someone wants to pull your head away and someone wants to make you try a little piece of a cold, stale steak, know that your eyes are not going to turn, because you want the incredible superpower of being able to trust in your Father in heaven and to know that he will deliver for you the most incredible life you've ever dreamed of. Thank you, and good night.